Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the V Principal Podcast. I'm your host, Ivory Hunter. Hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. Hope all is well in your world, and I hope you just have that mindset where you continue to work on yourself and realize that when we are going through things, that's the wrong mindset. We don't go through things, we grow through things. So today, I hope you stay tuned and get this lesson about the three C's to have a successful relationship. But before I dive in to the three C's to a successful relationship, I want to say my last relationship that I attempted. It's been a long time since I've been in a serious relationship, and I tried, a few months back, 7 months back, and I went into it with the right intentions. But there was something that I ignored. I ignored red flags. I ignored boundaries. I ignored things. And because of that, the relationship didn't work out, because I didn't listen to, my instincts. I didn't pay attention to the red flags. I was too busy, chasing validation. And that's what really destroyed, my relationship. It destroyed my alignment, and nothing should come in front of your alignment. And that's when you're in a V trap. When you're not doing the things that you normally do to stay aligned because you are too busy trying to prove to somebody that you're the one for them. And that's how you get caught up. And, so you got to really stay aligned. All right. So these three C's that we're going to jump into. The first C, and I took some notes. The first C is just because it feels good doesn't mean that it fits. A lot of people rush into relationships because they have chemistry and they have connection. And that's what I did. It felt right, just every time I was around her, it just felt like we were supposed to be together. We had certain things in common. And so everything felt right. But what I failed to realize was we didn't have compatibility. I ignored that. A lot of times in relationships, we jump into these relationships based on just how we feel and ignoring other things that are important to really sustain a relationship. And let's start with chemistry. Chemistry this is the spark. This is the physical attraction. This is the energy. This is the excitement. And, this is, and chemistry is natural and it's instant because you feel that right away. You feel that connection. You feel that physical attraction is that energy, and you just want to be around that person more and more because it's there. You guys have that chemistry, and and sometimes we get caught up in that. And chemistry can happen fast, even if it's with the wrong person. And so that's what I did. There was chemistry. I wanted to spend more and more time around her. I felt good when I was around her. Our energy was right. We laughed. Things were really good. And so that's what I was focused on. And that's not the only C that's important in a relationship. It's easy to have chemistry, but then there's another part of it is connection. And with that connection, this is the bond. Like I said, you enjoy talking, you like spending time together, you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel understood. And, connection, it builds quickly when things feel good. So you go from that chemistry into connection. And then next thing you know, you're flowing. You're in a full on relationship because you like this chemistry, you like this connection, and everything feels right. But you got to slow down, and the key is, staying aligned, because I knew better, but it's not what we know. It's what we practice. All right. My cousin says, pulls my camera down. So let me pull that down 1 second. Sorry, guys, this is live, but let's see. Let's change it up. Just going to go from there. Damn, why is it so big? All right. Anyway, let's keep going. So connection, like I had that chemistry with her. I had that connection. I enjoyed spending time with her. I loved talking to her. Things felt right. And, when you have that chemistry and you have that connection, it feels like that's your person. And you ignore some of the major things like that have to do with compatibility. And I ignored the fact that we weren't compatible because I felt so good with the chemistry. I felt so good with the connection. And I wanted to, because I was caught in that trap of wanting to be in a relationship. I wanted to prove that I can be in a relationship, that I can be faithful, that I'm ready. And so I ignored things, and and I started moving too fast and ignored the red flags, like I said, and ignored the compatibility. And compatibility is where it's at, because this is the alignment. This is where it's about your values, your lifestyles, your vision for the future. And just because if with the, like I said, the chemistry and the connection that you had, that's not the only thing. This is where it really counts. Is this person, are we aligned? Are we on the same path? Do we share the same values? Do we have the same lifestyle? Do we have the same vision for the future? Does this person have, emotional maturity? How do they handle conflict? And, those are the things that come up after time, after discussions. That don't happen right away. People don't show themselves right away. It takes time to really see somebody. So we got to learn to pump our brakes and just slow down, because, compatibility for people might be one person might want kids and the other doesn't. One wants to move to a different state, but the other is rooted where they are. Somebody's a homebody while somebody enjoys going out. Somebody's emotionally available. The other person isn't. That's not chemistry. That's just reality that what people have. And if you just slow down, you got to make sure that they're checking all those boxes, because I don't care how much chemistry and how much connection that you have with a person. If you're not compatible, it's just not going to work. And it's not personal. You're just not compatible. So compatibility is not about how it feels. It's about how it fits. Does this person fit into a vision of my future? Do I fit in a vision of their future? Do we fit into each other's lives now? Sometimes it might be, you might just not be compatible with that person at that time. So sometimes you have to have the discernment to walk away and not stay stuck, because doing that, you'll find yourself in frustrating situations. And a lot of times we settle because we're caught up in the V trap, because we want to feel validated. We want to feel like we can be successful in a relationship. We want to feel loved. We want to feel wanted. And that's validation, but you got to stay strong. You got to be patient. You got to know that it's not about trying to find a person. It's about attracting the right person as we become the right person. So we have to be patient and not jump into things. And see, that's the thing. Most people feel the chemistry, build a connection, and then they skip compatibility and rush right into relationship. So listen, you locked in before you knew you had to. And this is where the V trap always shows up, because you feel something, you feel excited, you want it to be real, and you want that validation, and you rush it. And this is where you need to slow down, because you didn't verify the compatibility. You chase the confirmation, you chase the validation. And so what do? We start telling everybody, I'm in a relationship. This person is awesome. We post it, we announce it, we claim it. And guess what? Now we're not in a relationship. Now we're in a performance, because now we want to make sure that we're keeping up with, the vision that we're painting of this relationship. And even though things might be drifting, now we done ran our mouth too quick and people are all in our business. So we got to learn how to slow down and get to know everybody. Hello, Whitney. Hello, Ramona. How you guys doing today? What's up, cuz? Thank you for joining. So chemistry gets you excited. Let's review. Chemistry gets you excited. Connection keeps you engaged, but compatibility determines if it's going to last. So we can't ignore that. So stop locking in based on how it feels. Pause, take some time and stop to see, is this aligned based on how it fits or just how you're feeling? And it has to be how it fits into your lifetime. So some lines I want you to remember, like chemistry is easy, but compatibility, that's earned. That takes some time. Just because you connect doesn't mean you align. And feelings can start it, but alignment is what is going to sustain it. Hey, what's up, cuz? You don't find compatibility, you reveal it over time. So don't announce it, and that's when you'll understand it. So ask yourself, is this consistent? Is this aligned? Is this real, or is it just exciting? The principle is that we need to build this relationship in private. Some things they need time to develop without noise, without telling your family, without telling your friends, without telling your kids, without posting it. You need to take time to learn each other, to build the foundation, to see the patterns and let it become real. Because, a lot of times people can send a representative. All right. So those are the 3 C's of having a successful relationship, because when you move too fast, you're not building a relationship. You're really just chasing a feeling. So protect it while it's growing so you don't have to fix it after it breaks. Okay. So slow down, pump your brakes. Chemistry, connection, and compatibility. It needs to be all 3. Okay. And if you take your time and you stay in line, you will attract that. I was talking to a friend the other day and they were frustrated because they're like, it's so hard. They're trying to find the right person. And I was like, that's the problem. It's not about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person, and you will attract the right person. And, for me, like I made a joke, like if I want to attract the right person, I can't live like a life that's like Groundhog's Day and come home after work and do the same thing. It's not like the Amazon lady is going to come here and I'm going to attract her. You got to put yourself out there. It's not about going out, but you got to put yourself out in an environment, but not be desperate. Don't chase and don't waste nobody's time. If you see somebody and you don't feel like that attraction, you don't feel that spark, the initial spark, then don't go after that person. Allow that person to come to you. Allow there to be some mutual initial attraction so you don't get into the habit of chasing. And then if you know that that person is not for you, don't waste their time. And that's how you kind of stay aligned. All right. And then shifting to part two of this conversation, it's like we really rush to tell people everybody about our relationship. Like we get excited, it's like, before we go public, we need to again pump your brakes and verify what it really is. And that I came up with an acronym, verify. Is this consistent? Is this real, or is this just a feeling? Verify. Is it just consistent, or is it just a feeling? Is it consistent, or is it just a feeling? Is it real, or is it just a feeling? So you got to make sure that you're aware of that. Yeah, let me see. Ramona said, perfect. C, slow and steady. Don't be afraid of asking the real questions. Absolutely right. And we don't have to rush to know somebody too fast and too soon, because sometimes when people do that and you're telling everything so quick, it's because some people don't have the right intentions. And so they're using your vulnerability and your transparency to come back and use it for ulterior motives. So you ease into that. You don't have to rush into any relationship. When you're happy with yourself, when you're comfortable, you don't have to feel like you're rushing into this relationship. Take your time. Stay doing you. Stay hanging with your friends. Stay working out. Stay building yourself. Stay growing, and allow that person to fit into your schedule and you fit into their schedule naturally without trying to change up things too quick, because that's what happens. Then we build resentment. Take your time. Take your time when you're building. Evaluate. How do they show up over time? How do they show up over time? Are the actions matching the words? Are the actions matching the words? Regulate. Don't let emotions move faster than reality. Stay grounded and don't rush. And that's what happened in my last relationship. Because we had the chemistry, because I had the connection, my emotions wanted things to move fast. Her emotions wanted things to move fast. But we both knew that we weren't compatible, but we both were at a place where we just were, I think essentially subconsciously we were maybe needing each other for validation, and then we move forward ignoring the red flags. And you can't ignore the red flags. So you got to make sure that it's just not your emotions saying, I want to be with you, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. That's emotional. That's not based on reality. That's not based on what's really happening. So just take your time. Intention. What are they actually looking for? What are you looking for? You got to make sure that's clear. This person might not want to be in a long-term relationship. This person might not want kids. This person might, like I said, might want to stay in California while you want to move back to the East Coast to be next to your family. Those things may not be aligning up. And so if that's what it is, you got to make sure that you don't continue to go forward and waste your time or their time, because you guys aren't on the same page as far as compatibility. And that leads right into F, which is your future. Is it real, not imagined? Is there actual alignment, or is it just potential? A lot of us, we date people based on potential. And I hear a lot of women say that. Stop dating somebody's potential. Date who they really are. And I know it's great to believe in people. I wanted people to believe in me. I like to believe in other people. But sometimes you just got to look at a person for who they are. And if that person is not aligned with you, then you need to let it go. You need to let that relationship go. Thank you, cuz. And the why, the last thing is you. That why stands for you. Where are you in this? Are you aligned? Are you just caught up in this feeling? Are you choosing this or reacting to it? Because a lot of times we just react to the other person and, okay, yeah, we should move in. We should do this. And you're like, yeah, no. How do you feel? Do you really want to move in with this person yet? Are you really ready to take these steps? So you have to make sure that you verify them and you verify yourself. Are you aligned? Or are you just excited? Those are important things. Are you choosing this, or are you chasing how it feels? And a lot of times we get caught up in chasing how things feel. And like, again, a feeling is one thing, but the reality of how it really fits into your life, into their life is more important, because that's where a lot of relationships fail. And that's communication. That's being honest with your feelings, honest with yourself, and honest with them, and the vice versa. It's not just about who they are. It's about who you are being in it. All right. So again, verify everything. Courtney, hey, Courtney, Ramona, thank you for watching. But again, guys, Thank you for watching this episode on the three C's before you jump into a relationship, making sure that you have, connection, chemistry, and compatibility. All those things matter. One without the other is not going to work. So in closing, I just want to say, when you stay aligned, you don't have to get aligned. So focus on yourself. If you're single right now and and you gave up on relationships because you're tired of finding the wrong person, leave it open. You don't have to go chasing saying I want a relationship, but leave yourself open and just focus on yourself and put yourself in a situation where you might be able to indeed attract a partner, because nobody really truly wants to be alone. Yes, people have been hurt and they've been let down and now you're just tired of it, but you got to look back and to your past relationships and say, where was I at? Where was I at in this V trap? Why was I chasing validation? Was it my ego leading this relationship? Was it my brokenness that continued to let me attract the wrong person, the wrong people? So again, stay open, but focus on your alignment. Alignment is always comes first, so do the work. All right. When we try to become better than who we are, everything around us becomes better. All right, so I'm going to open it up a few minutes for questions, comments, and if anybody wants to join, let's take a few minutes before